He's been in the sport for a while, now he's fighting as a top contender. I'm a champion. Now it's just up to me to defend my titles. I think he's no pushover. He's there for a reason. He's a top contender for a reason. And we plan to show everybody what we could do this week.
Sebastian Fundora strongly denied the idea that he was avoiding a fight with Jaron Boots, explaining that his team had never received any official offer for the matchup. Speaking on Boxing Scene Today, trainer Robert Garcia, who works with Fender's rival Virgil Ortiz Jr., said Fender remains a serious option if the long-awaited Ortiz fight fails to happen. Garcia made his position clear, saying they would welcome the Fender matchup and pointing out that, just like Ortiz, Fender is a legitimate world champion.
If Boots or Fundora don't happen, well, then we got to move on and continue fighting and keep them busy and continue doing our thing. But no, we want those fights. It doesn't matter, obviously Boots is our main fight right there. That's the one we want, and that's the one we already agreed to. And on our side, it's a done deal. But if not, then we're gonna try to push for Fundora. The WBC could force that fight because we are the interim champions, and Fundora is the WBC champion. So it's a fight that should have been made.
McIntyre also argued that the WBC could step in and push the matchup forward, especially with Ortiz holding interim champion status, while Fendor is the recognized full champion. In his view, this is a fight that should have already been made. Meanwhile, respected trainer Brian Bullmac McIntyre called the division one of the deepest and most unpredictable in boxing, pointing to names like Jaron Boots, Ennis, Virgil Ortiz Jr., and Sebastian Fundora. He believes almost every major matchup in the division is a genuine 50-50 battle. McIntyre even compared the current group of fighters to the famous Four Kings era, praising how many top-level boxers are willing to take on one another and keep pushing the division forward.
If anything, kind of following the footprints of.
I think he has to. He's a great fighter. He can start his own era like what he's doing now, but he got a lot of guys he got to compete with, like Shakur. He got anyway. Those guys are young and still fighting. So I ain't gonna really call it the Boots era. I just think he's a great fighter in the era with other guys that can say this was my.
With that, I know the Fundoras and Virgils, they all have to fight each other to come to that conclusion. I mean, is that amongst those guys? Is there someone stand out a little bit more, or is it still kind of 50-50 across?
I think it's a 50-50 across the board, because when you look at Virgil and when he get guys hurt, like maybe Boots was hurt, he finished them off. You look at Fundora with the range and the height he got, even though he been beat before. Since then, he's just been cleaning them up. And so we always want to see, when those two or three, like the Four Kings, when they tangle. So we as boxing fans, we just sit back and wait.
Eddie Hearn, Ennis's promoter, shared a similar view while discussing what could come next after Ennis's victory over Xander Zez. Hearn said the team has several strong options on the table, including Josh Kelly, Virgil Ortiz, and Sebastian Fundora. He also made it clear that any deal involving Fundora, just like a possible fight with Ortiz, would have to reflect Ennis's new position as a unified champion. In other words, the terms being discussed before his latest win would no longer be enough now that his status has changed.
After the Virgil Ortiz fight, and I stand by all my comments previously, it is one of the very best fights in the sport. Boots will take it like that. But I have to go and present an offer to Jaron Ennis, and I can do that by having a chat and seeing the numbers. But if you're like, it's always make the fight, Eddie, it's like make the offer, right? So Golden Boy, the Zone, if you want to challenge the champ, make the offer to the champ. If not, we'll sit down and we'll tell you what you're getting for the fight, and then we'll work with Golden Boy or co-promote, no problem. But respect what he's done, respect the situation, and respect that today's price is not yesterday's price.
Porterway Podcast, Sean Porter praised the progress Sebastian Fundora has made as a fighter, pointing to his victory over Keith Thurman as a clear sign of that growth. Porter explained that Fundora is now doing a much better job of using his size and reach to control fights instead of simply having those physical advantages without fully taking advantage of them. Porter pointed out that Fendor took some of Thurman's hardest shots and still controlled the fight with his reach and distance, showing how much his overall game has improved. He believes Fendor has developed into a much more dangerous fighter than the one fans saw earlier in his career. Although the discussion mainly centered on a possible Ennis-Ortiz matchup, Porter's comments also provide important insight into how experts see Fendor's growth ahead of any potential fight with Ennis. Porter and his co-hosts placed Fendor in the same elite 154-pound group as Ortiz and Ennis, describing all three as true 50-50 fighters who are waiting for the biggest matchups to finally happen.
So what do you think happens against Ortiz or Fundora?
Call me crazy and saying all that. Number one, they have the game plan, but I still think that talent is so superior. Like he said, you know, it's a, and I know this from my own experience. It's a different speed on the outside than when you actually get in the ring and do it. You know, I was one of those guys that everybody felt like they could game plan for me, but they didn't understand how quick I actually was. They didn't understand how explosive I actually was able to get my way with just about everybody I was in the ring with, because on the outside looking in, it's just a little bit different, you know? So I still think he beats Fundora. I still think he beats Virgil Ortiz.
In a recent episode of the Angry Man podcast, Greg suggested that Fendor's team may have moved quickly after seeing Ennis struggle during the third round against Zaz. He believes they might have viewed those mistakes as an opportunity to target Ennis before he had a chance to correct and improve those weaknesses. One thing this shows is that Ennis's performance may have exposed areas that rival teams are now paying close attention to.
And one thing it demonstrates is that Boots is for real as it relates to wanting to unify the division and feeling he's the best and willing to face and fight anybody.
Yeah, it depends on, who sent the offer.
Who cares?
You know, the reason I say that because Fundora's team they said they'd fight anyone, but now they saw that fight.
Greg said he originally expected Josh Kelly to be the more likely next opponent for Ennis because the two fighters share the same promotional setup, assuming Kelly takes care of business in his own upcoming fight first. However, Greg also made it clear that he would have no problem with the matchup if Fendor becomes the final choice, viewing it as another major fight that could deliver a serious test for Ennis.
I don't think
so. Let's get in there real fast, you know, but I like it. I really do like it. I don't know if it's going to come into fruition. I thought Josh Kelly would probably be their quicker route since that'll be an in-house fight as long as Josh Kelly takes care of the business next month.
Pointed out the strange situation of Ring Magazine ranking Virgil Ortiz Jr. as the division's #1 fighter, even though he did not hold a belt in the weight class. He then focused on Fendor's rare physical tools, especially his 6'7" height and around 90-inch reach, saying those advantages would create a completely different kind of challenge for Ennis and could test him in ways he has never experienced before.
I'm all for it. I'm all for the best fighting the best. People say Fundora is one of the best at 154. For some reason, they got your boy at #1 at 154 when he hasn't got a belt there, you know, but it is what it is with Virgil being #1 at 154, I think, according to Ring Magazine, whatever. But yeah, it'll be an interesting matchup. The styles makes fight is big, as we see in this matchup here. Fundora's 6'7", got a 90,000 reach, something like that.
Greg warned that if Ennis carries the same moments of lost focus into a fight with someone as big as Fendor, he could pay a heavy price. Fendor's unusual size, long reach, and unpredictable style could make even small mistakes extremely dangerous, especially against an opponent who can punish openings from a distance.
So, this will be a big test, a biggest test for Boots of his career, of course, if he were to fight Fundora. All that focus, lack of focus, that bet not happen here. He gonna be sleep.
Jason agreed to some degree, but emphasized his belief that boxing matchups are always shaped by styles, not just physical advantages. He pushed back against the idea that having more tools automatically means Fendor would win, pointing out that Ennis has already shown the skills needed to create serious problems for him. Jason also argued that Fendor still has weaknesses to fix, especially after some of the openings and flaws he has shown in his recent fights.
I agree to an extent. I think, you know, and I'm so big on styles make fights, right? I think a lot of these young whippersnappers, some of these young punks, specifically those young punks that are in our Discord, believe that, simply put, if you have more tools in your toolbox than your opponent, you always win. It's not right. Stylistically, styles can make fights. And I think from a stylistic standpoint, I think Boots has demonstrated that there are things that he can do in the ring that would give Fundora problems.
Oh, absolutely.
And I still don't think Fundora has necessarily showed me that he has close those vulnerabilities, or at least significantly reduce those vulnerabilities.
Former world champion Chris Algieri believes the 154-pound division has become one of the most competitive and dangerous weight classes in boxing, with several top fighters capable of beating each other on any given night. Looking at the current landscape, Algieri described the junior middleweight division as a highly competitive battleground, highlighting names such as Jaron Ennis, Sebastian Fundora, Virgil Ortiz Jr., and Josh Kelly. He explained that each fighter brings a different style, skill set, and set of challenges, making nearly every major matchup difficult to predict.
A lot of people have said to me that Fundora actually is the final boss at 154. What would you like to see Boots fight first? Would you like to see him go up against Fundora first, or Virgil, considering?
To be fully transparent, Virgil's my guy.
Okay.
Because Virgil's my guy. I've known Robert Garcia a long time. He's been telling me about him for a long time. And I know Virgil. I like Virgil. So it'd be hard to be unbiased. But Fundora is such a difficult puzzle. He's so long, and he's getting better. He's improving. He's improving. He's learning how to use his size. He's using his jab. He's being more disciplined. He's not taking risks like he used to. Talk about a guy who used to allow people to hit him and then has figured out that you shouldn't do that at the highest level in that Brian Mendoza fight. But since then, he's been very, very good. So, yeah, I can understand why people would see him as the final guy because, again, with those physical advantages and the way that he's getting better, very, very difficult to deal with. Virgil, the inactivity really worries me because you got sharks circling. And Jaron, with the level of talent he has, he can beat anybody on it.
Among the division's biggest names, Algieri reserves special praise for WBC champion Sebastian Fundora. He described the towering southpaw as one of the most difficult puzzles in boxing, explaining that Fender's extraordinary height, reach, and awkward style already make him a nightmare to prepare for.
1 through 4, you mentioned them all. Boots, Josh Kelly, Fundora, Virgil. From the bottom to the top, how would you go?
Can't do it. Can't do it. Because this is one of those fights, this is one of those divisions where, again, if they all fight each other, I don't think anybody stays undefeated. So even trying to rank people, just because they're all so different. You know, you got Boots, who's a fluid, side-switching, counter-punching, killer puncher. You got Virgil, who's a two-fisted destroyer, comes to get you. Fundora is the towering inferno. He's 6'9" or however tall he is. You got Josh Kelly, who's a slippery guy. So you've got a lot of different styles. You got to see how they.
Writing variant Tyron document ID 38164. Title: Unrewritten transcript. Jaron Boots. Ennis has made his goal clear. He wants to become the undisputed champion at 154 pounds. Instead of looking for easy opponents or simple paydays, Ennis says he wants to test himself against the best available competition. He has specifically named unified champion Sebastian Fundora and British contender Josh Kelly as two fighters he would be willing to face next. His focus is simple: keep taking on the toughest challenges until he holds every major world title in the division.
I feel like the better the fighter is, the better I'm gonna be, the sharper I'm gonna be. So, I'm here to, collect these belts, and I want to be undisputed at 154, and I will be undisputed at 154. I didn't get to do it at 47, so the next best thing is, Fundora or Kelly. So, and I feel like everybody want to see me and Fundora because he's a
Writing variant, a document ID 59327. Title: Rewritten transcript. Ortiz shared the same approach, making it clear that he has no desire to take easier or safer matchups. His goal is to face the best fighters in the division and prove himself against the highest level of competition. Ortiz specifically pointed to Jaron Ennis and unified champion Sebastian Fundora as the opponents he wants most, believing that beating elite names is what will ultimately shape and define his legacy.
You are still undefeated. You are still a star. What do you want to do next?
Man, I just want the best fights, no matter who it is. Jaron Ennis, Fundora, anyone with the belt. There's really not anyone in the top 10 that I haven't fought or that I haven't tried to fight. At this point, people just need to take the fights, and a lot of people want to say, how come you haven't tried this route? Just because I'm not calling people out on social media like everyone else does doesn't mean I'm telling my manager, hey, let's make this fight. That doesn't mean I'm not talking to the WBC like, hey, how come we haven't made this fight happen yet? You know what I mean? Like we've done our part, you know. I'm not a very vocal guy. Well, I'm starting to be because I feel like I have.
Fighting variant, a document ID 74261, title rewritten transcript. When discussing the division's top fighters, Ennis said he sees Sebastian Fundora as a tougher matchup than Vergil Ortiz Jr. He respects Ortiz's ability, but believes Ortiz's direct, pressure-heavy approach would give Ennis more opportunities to use his own strengths. Fundora is a different challenge altogether because of his extreme height, long reach, and awkward style. That combination makes Fundora the opponent Ennis is most interested in defeating as he continues his push to become undisputed champion.
Fundora, would you consider Fundora and Ortiz same level as Zayas, or do you think they're a step up?
To be honest, I think Zayas got a little bit more game to him than Vergil. You know what you get from Vergil. Vergil straight up and down. He gonna try to walk you down. And y'all know, come on now, you can't just walk to me because I got heat. I got heat for you. So, and I think that make like people gonna say it's a tailor-made fight for me. You know, I feel like fighting a guy like Fundora, they're accepted more.
In the long-rumored showdown with Ennis, Ortiz stated that he has consistently given his team the green light to finalize the fight. He suggested the delay has not been on his side, indicating that he has always been willing to accept the challenge and remains ready whenever the opportunity becomes a reality.
Every time they ask me, I give them the green light. You know, it's only been one-sided green lights coming from out over here. The reason that the fight hasn't happened is simply because they haven't taken the fight.
Boxing analyst Timothy Bradley Jr. believes Sebastian Fundora is one of the few fighters capable of creating serious problems for Jaron Boots, and however, Bradley emphasized that his concern is rooted in Fender's unique physical advantages, rather than superior technical ability. According to Bradley, Fender's exceptional reach, relentless punch output, power, and ability to control distance make him an awkward puzzle for any opponent trying to work their way inside.
Boots a run from his money. He could. And I only say that because of his attributes. Not because of his boxing skills. It's because of his attributes. That's why this guy has, and it's Sebastian Fundora. You guys know who he is. He's a southpaw too, right? He has range, he has volume, he has punching power as well, okay? He knows how to keep his distance. He's difficult. I know he's been knocked out before. I know that. But you gotta go through a dang rain of fire to be able to get close to this guy if he don't want you to get close. Now, everybody's saying, well, Thurman was supposed to get whooped. I told y'all Thurman was gonna get whooped too. Y'all heard it here too. Y'all said he gonna get whooped. Okay? But I was studying the film the other day, and Boots has the style that I believe that could give him fits because of his elusiveness.
Bradley also questioned why a fight between Fundora and Ennis has yet to materialize. He argued that Fundora has sufficient time to satisfy his WBC mandatory obligation, but appears unwilling to pursue a showdown with Ennis. Bradley admitted that an Ennis-Ortiz clash is another matchup he would eagerly like to see.
That's why you see Fundora wanting to fight, because he don't have to fight his mandatory. I'm letting y'all know that right now. He got a year to fight his mandatory. An entire year with the WBC, right? And all he has to do is ask the WBC, hey, I want to pursue this bigger venture with Boots Ennis, but as you see, the manager, all right, they don't want it to do anything. They don't want anything to do with Boots. Nothing to do with Boots. And so people saying, well, Boots ain't fight nobody. Boots ain't fight. So now he wants to fight somebody, right? And nobody wants to fight him. And nobody wants to fight him. So we're hearing that Josh Kelly might want to do it because Hearns got Josh Kelly. Okay, that's might want to do it. Vergil is tied up in litigation. Hopefully he can get his stuff together because that's the fight that I want to see first. I want to see Vergil and Boots first. But if you can't get that, then why is Fundora, you know, hiding and ducking and, you know, the towering inferno. And I got none but love and respect for him because that man is from around my way. He's from around my way. He from the valley. I got none but respect for Fundora. Okay? But I think what it is that they see the danger in fighting him right now. He's hot right now. Let him cool down a little bit. Let him cool down a bit.
Writing variant non-order document ID 683854. Title rewritten transcript. Looking back at Fendor's earlier comments about wanting to fight Terrence Crawford, Bradley believes Ennis is the obvious opponent to consider next. In Bradley's view, Ennis is the most naturally talented fighter in the division, based not only on his record, but also on his overall skill, ability, and what he sees when Ennis performs in the ring.
But if he was really about that action, if he was really, Fundora was really about that action, he would tell his managers, nah, I want him. I want him. You remember when Fundora was saying that he wanted Crawford? I want to fight Terrence Crawford. I want to fight Terrence Crawford. I want to fight Terrence Crawford. I kept hearing that from Fundora. He wanted to challenge himself against the best. Well, right now, who's considered, I would say, the best in the division or the most talented? We're not going by resume. We're going by just eye test talent. It's Boots.
Bradley concluded by stressing that boxing should prioritize the fans who ultimately support the sport through ticket sales and pay-per-view purchases. Drawing from his own career, he explained that he always aimed to deliver exciting performances, even if it meant absorbing more punishment inside the ring.
Always forget that the fans, you guys at home, you guys watching, you the ones that's paying for this. Y'all the ones that buy the tickets. Y'all the ones. I was a fighter, I understand that. That's the reason why I fought the way I fought. Tim, you got hit a lot. I was short. I had a big head. Yeah, I slipped punches as well. I did get hit quite a bit because I'm being aggressive, because I'm trying to please the fans at home. Okay? So, Fundora, Josh Kelly, all these fights, they should be made. If boxing was a sport, it was a real sport and ran the right way, those fights will be happening. We wouldn't have to wait 10 years, 15 years, 5 years.
You have the actual links for the Fundora and Timothy Bradley Jr. interviews. Send them over and I can fold them in properly with accurate sourcing throughout.